On March 3rd, 2017, the Nintendo Switch was launched globally alongside record-breaking and beloved title The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, stock shortages from high demand, general praise for its flexibility to, well, switch from docked TV mode to portable handheld mode, and both of the themes it would ever seem to have. For 7 years. 7. Right now, in May of 2024, rumors abound for what the next mainline console will hold for Nintendo. The follow-up to the Switch is, of course, highly anticipated for the usual suspects: performance, graphical integrity, functionality, specifically how it will continue the hybrid status of the Switch and if it will be backwards compatible, and, above all else, will Kid Icarus return to the Nintendo lineup? Bring back Pit, you coward! At any rate, the Switch, though a groundbreaking little ditty in its own right, has for years sorely lacked something so core to its handheld predecessor. The experience, the secret sauce that makes people truly love that humble little Nintendo console. Personality. Which isn't to say it's not unique. As far as consoles go, it's very distinct in what it can do. If we don't count the Steam Deck, or PlayStation Portal. I don't think we can count the PlayStation Portal. But the 3DS family of systems, recently tossed aside by Nintendo as a form of cruel punishment to me, personally, still holds so much more appeal as a portable experience than the Switch ever has. To me, personally, you may not agree, you don't have to, but I can't help but feel in the transition to the Switch, Nintendo forgot about the huge strides it made with the 3DS with each and every wrinkle of the experience. Like, opening and turning on your 3DS and being greeted with this. Just does something to the heart, endears you to it, makes the experience just that much more personal. I remember going to GameStop day one to pick up my pre-ordered 3DS and sitting in the mall parking lot too excited to wait to be home to open the dang thing, and from the word go, it was something so special and precious. Slowly watching the 3D screen pull away, eyes adjusting to the experience, being wowed at the fact that this little thing could create the illusion of depth without the need for glasses. Opening the main menu for the first time, the familiar ambient chimes of the DSi in its menu, but with so much more depth. Literally and figuratively. Playing around with its built-in apps, silly as they were, was such a joy. The AR cards especially added so much charm and intrigue to the experience, doubly so with the gyro controls. It's really a shame there weren't more titles to utilize that aspect of the 3DS in its lifetime. Spirit Camera did it best from what I played, but, like, the starting cutscene in Bravely Default using AR was just... If you don't think that was a good use of the AR cards, then you're lying. And looping back to the UI, Nintendo added so much charm and flavor to it over the years. Whereas the Switch has, and likely always will have, the just black or white themes, the 3DS had the ability to purchase themes based on games, changing the background, the music, the sound effects, the way the folders looked. You know, folders, the thing that the Switch definitely has, 7 years later. Oh. And you may have noticed, or been lucky enough to experience this part of the 3DS yourself, but using an app called the Badge Arcade, it was possible to get badges based on Nintendo IPs to decorate your home menu with, including putting them on your folders. Granted, unlike the themes, which were sometimes free with games and sometimes a $1 or $2 charge, this was a freemium service, but even getting one free play a day guaranteed you a couple of badges to decorate your home screen with. Admittedly, I did splurge a little, if only because matching themes with the corresponding badges was so fun. You could even earn badges that worked as tappable icons and open the standard 3DS apps, making it possible to fully customize your layout however you wanted and keep everything looking uniform to the overall theme. It was so cool! And even badges without functions could be lined up and made into a little seed you could see every time you opened and scrolled your main menu, watching the backgrounds of your themes move along with your scrolling. I love this system! And if you had enough themes, you could set some of your favorites on random and just... Now, none of these features were necessary by any means, but it added such a positive, delightful feeling of, this is my console, this is my collection. Like having your phone all personalized. It was just so great. Losing the feature for that level of in-depth customization only further makes the drab feeling of the Switch menu that much more apparent, to me at least. Another example is the settings menu on the Switch, which greets you with just and no music, but on the 3DS you got a whole song for the settings menu, and even a second funkier jam for internet settings. Going back and playing in the settings on the 3DS only makes the silence in the Switch's menus that much more jarring. But moving on from the menus, the experience in using the 3DS was so much better for not only the interfaces, but also what it could do aside from playing its core games. Air is the one we've mentioned briefly, but Street Pass was the huge one, and one I personally held on to hope of seeing a new version of alongside the Switch. Like, even if we got an accessory a la Pokemon Go Plus, where something the size of a Joy-Con or smaller could be taken along instead of the full Switch and connect to other players nearby for little bonuses, that little sense of community with friends and strangers alike, giving you those little experiences of, oh, I love this thing, and so many people around me do too. Getting home at the end of the day, seeing what others near you are enjoying and playing, sending silly personalized greetings, it was great. Maybe it's just nostalgia, and I had an objective advantage of where and when I was for Street Pass, so really it was just perfect timing in my world, but the 3DS first came out when I was starting college, and the post-launch discount took effect just a few months prior. Taking public transport to school and wandering campus for a few hours a day for classes and using the library guaranteed my Street Pass queue would be full when I got home. I'm sure it helped that I was studying Japanese as a major too, like we were all gonna like video games. It's not really a secret, but I digress. Every day for those 4 years if I was on campus, so was my 3DS. It was really rare to not get 10 passes a day, but heading out the next morning would typically guarantee me a pass on the bus, so if I was out early enough, I could do my daily Street Pass goodness and start up another line of people for the end of the day. But studying abroad in Tokyo was really where things were good, though. I could sit in a lobby area in a mall in downtown Tokyo, play through all the mini games with my queue of 10 people, and by the time I was done, bam, 10 more. Ready to go. I spent hours one day just filling out my game logs in 2013. Shame since the second wave of games came out in 2016, many of which I'm not sure I'll ever complete without grinding daily play coins and playing in small bursts now. I digress. I think most people remember the puzzle swap feature since it was one of the 2 freebies. It was such a smart thing from a marketing perspective, since not only would a Street Pass show you what someone had been playing recently, but you'd be slowly putting together artwork for games generally available on the 3DS itself. And these artworks, once complete, would show you a little animation of these games or their characters in action. The best one, of course, was the Xenoblade one. You're lured into seeing the Mechonis in a group of Napon, including Riki being so silly. But pan to the right, and you'll see my beautiful babies. Xenoblade on the 3DS is the reason I upgraded to a new 3DS system, so coming back and looking at this artwork post-game just melted my heart. But you'd also get artworks and animations that celebrated certain series milestones as well, like this Kirby animation one. Just look how cute he is, you can't tell me that's not cute! Additionally, outside of the Street Pass app, you could set up games to have functionality with Street Pass, so if you passed someone playing the same game as you, you could unlock bonuses in-game. Notable titles were the rival maps in Fire Emblem, the weapons in Kid Icarus Uprising, Bring It Back, oh my god, and the battle bonuses in Bravely Default. That's something sorely missed on the Switch. Even playing games with other people doesn't get you the unlocks that a passing stranger could in applicable titles. You really lose that sense of community, you know? The sense of sharing portable gaming wherever you go, where you don't need to meet people to enjoy gaming with them, just knowing that you were enjoying things that the people around you were also enjoying was enough. The Pokemon Go craze had some of that camaraderie, but it never felt the same as with the 3DS. That's sort of asynchronous. Here's what my house looks like in Animal Crossing. What about yours? Playing at the same time yet separately, and still being able to know how others around you enjoyed the titles that you did? I don't know if I'm wording it right, but the loss of Street Pass and Spot Pass really took away from the feeling of games being a part of the world around you, even when you weren't playing. Because even without words, in so many cases you could share in the knowledge of the world around you also having fun experiences just like you were. And though I could go on, I feel like my blabbering is going on a long time now, so I'll wind down with how the Switch's special editions lack some of the character of certain 3DS and 2DS special editions. Obviously, some special editions are made with more in mind than others, but the sheer variety of 3DS editions covering all kinds of titles and regions just eclipses the Switch's offerings. I have my Tears of the Kingdom OLED Switch to show as an example, as the only Legend of Zelda Special Edition Switch system, unless you count the Skyward Sword Joy-Cons on their own, since those are a pair of such gorgeous themed controllers. Anyway, the gold and green on the Joy-Cons are very pretty, reminiscent of 2 of the core colors I personally think of when it comes to Zelda titles. The symbols on the front and back of the Joy-Cons are a nice touch, doubly so if you've played the game and know what they represent, as well as the slightly raised circular pattern on the back. I took my case off so it could be seen better. Now, maybe I'm going at this with the biggest example in terms of how special the edition is, but here's my Hylian Shield Edition new 2DS XL system. I got it secondhand and refurbished from GameStop during an online restock, and I barely used it, so the cosmetic wear on the outside is what it came with, unfortunately. But just look at the theming on this thing, the back of the system being silver like the back of a shield, the front with its gold and silver details that are raised and shaped to make the Triforce and buckles and Hylian crest look all the more pronounced. The shoulder buttons are a rich brown, like the leather strap on a shield would be, and of course, the front is a rich royal blue to help the Hylian crest stand out all the more. The inside keeps that royal blue intact, and the buttons on display are gray and blue to match the theming of the rest of the console. Like, this little system released in July 2018, a year after the Switch's launch, and it feels like more of a special edition than the 2023 Tears of the Kingdom Switch does. One could argue that because of the unique shape, this 2DS could be more easily damaged, and you'd be correct, but man, if it doesn't have heaps and heaps more charm, not only on its own, but as a representative of the Zelda franchise as a whole than the Switch does. And it's just one of many Zelda editions out there for the 3DS family. Forgive the unfortunate photo location as I'm mid-move, and I don't have any better or more recent photos of my beautiful children, but excluding my black new 3DS XL and the out-of-box Hylian Shield new 2DS XL I just showed you, these are my beautiful 3DS consoles. Outside of the two boxes in the very back from the original black model and the Ocarina of Time edition, and the 3DS XL with the Triforce on it to download Link Between Worlds, these are all brand new and never opened. Because of the wealth of designs, some of which were so detailed and so charming, even collecting variants of the 3DS as a hobby was some of the most fun I've ever had as a Nintendo enthusiast, sans the mixed frustrations and wins of the early amiibo collecting days. Alongside games and their own collector's editions, consoles with that extra personality in that era were just unmatched. I do regret not collecting the faceplate variants, or even a 3DS that could utilize the faceplates. I regret selling this one when I did, for like $400, with the special edition of Fates. Both brand new. But just comparing the wealth of options on the 3DS family to the Switch family, even discounting the faceplates, it's just not even close. The 3DS wins like 10 times over. The ways you could customize the 3DS and show your love for games both inside the system UI and out with the external features gives it what the Switch to this day sorely lacks: personality and identity. Yes, the Switch may be the first of its kind to truly bring such immersive experiences like Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom on the go, and its interchangeability from handheld to television console is a unique selling point we still haven't seen a huge amount of competition jumping in on. Yes, I know about the Steam Deck, okay, please leave me alone. But all this time later, as we creep towards this year's looming announcement of a Switch successor, I find myself pining for using my 3DS more than my Switch, and cherishing the time that I do. The dual screens in 3D, which admittedly looks a lot better on the new 3DS models, make the system feel so much more unique as a standalone game console. And honestly, my pie-in-the-sky hopes and dreams for the Switch's successor are mostly that it takes a few notes from what made the Nintendo 3DS family so evergreen in its identity. Thanks for watching through to the end. I'm sure you could tell that this is my first attempt at making a love of hardcore casual gaming into something a little more than just a personal hobby. I'd appreciate likes, dislikes, comments on how to improve, telling me to quit, whatever, I don't care. I'm still learning, so thank you again for your time and your input. Hope to see you all again soon.